I would say to answer your question, Pulse. I have been a bit more high on Sinning Gaming through this set so far. Frankly, their early game has looked outstanding.
Yep.
They've been able to follow that one through with some decent mid games, but they lost team fighting in game number 1. They just didn't really have any. In this second game, they just went hard on lanes. They said, we're not even going to 5v5 team fight. We're changing this draft up. We're getting some team fights through our lanes and just going to skirmish instead. And they just snowballed the heck out of that game. They knew where Doinby was going at every moment on his talent. They caught him out of position with a jungler and a mid laner. They roamed well. They drafted well. They did everything better than Rogue Warriors, frankly, in that game too.
They did, but at the same time, it felt like Rogue Warriors were definitely playing with fire on their side. I mean, they early drafted talent without knowing mid lane, only knowing the jungle. They instantly picked up their Caitlyn alongside the Morgana. Like, there was smarter choices to be made in Champions, like, for certain. But it also was in-game execution where I felt like Sinning Gaming, and especially Angel, just had their number not only in draft, but throughout the early game.
And then if we bring the draft back into it, though, Pulse, and we think about the first game where Rogue Warriors did win, Sinning Gaming still won the early game. You know, even when it's a full 100% draft from Rogue Warriors, still won the early game. Solo kill in mid lane, 2v2 was doing well. FLICKR is still playing very well. And that's something that has continued through from the start of the split to now. And I mean, coming into this third game, I'm curious to see what do Rogue Warriors do when it's all battle stations now 1-1 in a series.
I'm just saying, if Sinning Gaming win this game, then Sinning Gaming greater than Rogue Warriors, greater than Kingzone.
Yeah. Best team in the world.
Best team in the world, Sinning Gaming. It's a possibility. Well, for now, though, they're going to take away the Eclair, the Camille, and the Nocturne Sinning Gaming are, as Rogue Warriors would be back onto the red. Will be the classic Aatrox on red side, plus Rakan and Swain with a first pick of Talia. So that is how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, Kled, Camille, Nocturne does leave open Talia. Same thing on the other side. Rakan, a target ban from Yoon. So that does leave open that Talia. Now, does Flawless just say, Xin Zhao is the future, give me that champion? Because Hacker has increased that win rate.
What?
With that last game. And of course, if you don't know Flawless, know that he's a Lee Sin main. This is surprising to see picked first, but it is good.
It is good because it's Flawless. If you're Flawless or Klid, I'll give you a free pass on no matter when you want to pick up Lee Sin. But it was also first picked, and that also just makes me tremble just a little. My brain trembles because Rogue Warriors, I mean, last time they picked up the Talon, they picked up the Caitlyn, they picked up Comfort picks, and it didn't work out for them because it affected their draft. Now in this second game, or the third game, I should say, I want to see Rogue Warriors actually be smart with their comfort picks, as they'll also pick up the Shen.
And I think the Shen is what makes it smart already, right? So it's not a Nocturne that goes into the backline and dives, but it is safety for the Shen to for the Lee Sin to engage. The Shen provides that. It also provides the potential for a mage in the bottom lane again. So I really like the Shen as the second rotation here. Not only does it take it away from Sinning Gaming, it provides so much wealth in the draft phase for you.
Come on. Hovered over the pike. I want it. It was a Zoe once again for Angel, however, liked it in game 1, found the solo kill into Doinby. Second game was also equally as good as the Lissandra coming in there as well, but it will in the end be a Tahm Kench down to Yoon in the bottom lane. He'll be able to protect Fury no matter what he goes for, whether it's an Ashe, a Kai'Sa, or whatever type of carry he wants to go to.
We've seen some decent Tahm Kench performances today, to be honest with you, as the Mundo also gets locked in here. Presumably for Mouse, never discount Doinby as the kind of player that'll find a way, but it is a Zoe, so it's very, very unlikely in this particular game.
He's the type of guy who will fit the square into the circle hole.
He does
make it happen. Yep. Darius is going to be the ban out there towards Sinning. Definitely something you want to take away from A, Xiao Ao, but also, you know, when you're playing into multiple tanks. Yeah,
when you pick the Mundo, you can go Darius, Tahm Kench. Sorry, not Tahm Kench, Gangplank. Those are the two champions you might ban from Xiao Ao. In saying that, he had a very good Jarvan, and there's a chance that they respect that in the second ban phase here. So we'll see where they go, Rogue Warriors. You cannot ban out Xiao Ao's champion pool, but you can ban out things that may ruin your compositional strengths.
Yep. Galio will be the ban out there against Doinby from Sinning Gaming, and it will be also a Gangplank to round this one out. So we're calling a parlay to that one. And Sinning Gaming, final ban for them. Going to be another mid lane ban. Well, what crazy stuff has Doinby pulled out in the past?
I mean, Ryze is the other ban that they may even consider in this one.
Maybe don't want to play against the Talon again, though they handled it pretty well in the first game.
The Zoe, though, locked in. I don't know if Doinby plays Yasuo, but Yasuo is usually the traditional pick into the Zoe if you need physical damage in the mid lane, but we haven't seen it. In saying that, the Ryze will be removed, and it's one of those picks that Doinby is known for. He's got the Lulu, he's got the Karma, he had the Ryze. Those were his 3 picks for all of the spring split. And he's since diversified into bruisers, but go back to mages, that's where he'll look.
Now there's a hover evolution. And there's a lock-in of Lucian for Rogue Warriors. It could go to the mid lane, but I'm expecting SMLZ to take it.
Yeah, for me, this is one of those moments where, like, you see a Lucian. I would love to see a Soraka go with it, but I can't really see them picking a Soraka unless they do something real wonky with the rest of their draft.
True.
So it should be a Shen Lucian together in that bottom lane. High kill threat as a duo, but it's against the Tahm Kench, so that kill threat is very difficult to actually secure kills with.
And then it would also make sense at the very end for Joinby to find another supportive pick. Maybe a Lulu again. Maybe we find the same matchup in the first game. Or maybe the Karma, exactly. One of those two picks would be very likely coming out of Rogue Warriors here for the final pickup. And again, just go back to game one, you know. It's like SMLZ's performing well today. Just shove everything over to him in terms of the gold and how we're going to protect him. We've got a massive tank line in front of him anyways, so a supportive champion from Joinby would not go amiss, for certain.
And I think
Varus was also pick up. Sorry, Rusty.
For what it's worth here, Karma and Lulu both being options. I think Lulu's better into Zoe. It's easier to trade with her, but Karma is just generally a stronger champion. As, you know, things happen. We'll let the hovers actually subside into picks.
For sure, Varus was pick up from Suning Gaming, followed by Cho'Gath into the top lane, and it is just the Lulu in the end. Saw this in our first game of this set. So very similar composition just to game one, to be honest, from Rogue Warriors, with Lee Sin thrown in for good measure. Yeah,
now Lulu can trade through minion waves, which is, I think, something that, you know, Karma can't do as effectively. And I think that's why Lulu may be a better option here. Both do a similar thing in that they shield and protect their carries, and that they can do that to all of their carries. But with a Lulu locked in, a little bit better trade patterns in that middle lane. Though, Joinby also got solo killed against Angel last time we saw this matchup in game one.
True.
So that lingering concern will be there. But once you hit late game, Mundo Lulu, Lulu Lucian, all very strong duos.
There's also opportunities in skirmishes to find a Lulu ult onto a Lee Sin as well. When he jumps in, finds a triple knockup. It's always something to be thoughtful of. So yeah, I mean, I like the composition from Rogue Warriors, of course. Back over to Suning though, we've got the Zoe once again. I thought that was a great performance individually coming out of Angel in his very first game in the LPL earlier in this set. He got the solo kill against Joinby, as we keep saying, so that was great. Jungle gonna have the tempo in the form of Talia. Now Cho'Gath is, you know, big old tank in the top lane, so we're not gonna see another carry from Xiao Ao. That is important to note, but there's also more power into the bottom lane as well at that.
Definitely the case. I mean, for Suning Gaming, with their finished team composition, Xiao Ao may not be able to hard carry, still can kill you with that Cho'Gath. So that's always the threat that you have to consider when it's a Lucian trying to do the bulk of the damage. But Mundo's still going to be a very indomitable top laner to deal with on the opposite side. I'm curious to see where they go and how they play this one out. Varus, to me, is the MVP. You've got the Grievous Wounds, the tank shredding as well from the build, and more often than not, Varus is going AD again. So with the Blade of the Ruined King potentially available with a Guinzoos, he will smack tanks very hard and will be able to hard carry a late game. So that is an option now for Suning Gaming. But the option that they're missing, that they really utilized effectively in that second game, was the Rakan Xayah combo. Now it's a Tahm Kench. It's not going to be the hard engage tools that we saw before. It's Varus that will be doing most of that, but only from level 6 onwards. In fact, a lot of this for me, Pulse, is the OG Suning Gaming style. This is the get level 6 and get Yoon and Fury out of that bottom lane, bring them to Xiao Ao style.
Yeah, take the Abyssal Voyage over there, man. Here we go, final game of the night here in Shanghai. Let's see if Suning Gaming can outplay Rogue Warriors one more time and make it the 2-1. For now, though, I'm going to send you over to the crowd. Now, I've been thinking all night whether that sign is backwards, in which case it would be SMLZ. But I'm just looking at like the angles of that Z, and I think it might just be in the wrong order.
I didn't see it.
I've seen it like 3 times
no
now.
idea.
It says SMLZ. SLMZ, not SMLZ.
Ah.
Yeah. But I think it's just backwards. But I don't know if those signs are two-sided.
I don't know
because you have the LEDs,
if it
right?
can be backwards when only the middle letters are backwards, though.
What do you mean?
Well, you just said it's SLMZ. That's the middle letters of the word, so how could it be backwards?
Because if you flip it, if you turn it around,
that'd be ZLMS.
Yes, but then I'm talking about the S and the Z look very similar, so I'm trying to decide.
Oh,
if, like,
right.
You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Show me the sign in a VOD. We'll watch it later. I don't know how to answer this right now.
I was like, come on, man. We've seen it 3 times tonight.
It was a picture of a horse that was very distracting again.
Wait, that's what you looked at?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see the picture of the horse. That's where the reference came from. Oh, okay, it all makes sense now. See, Rusty and I look at very different things as a color in play-by-play.
Yeah, I find the horse in everything.
He found
apparently.
And I think about words. Anyways, 80% win rate, or is what people are thinking, over to Rogue Warriors. 80% of the voters.
Yeah, managed to got 5% from game number 2. So a lot of people still have faith in Rogue Warriors.
It's all about that comeback, man.
Second you see Flawless lock in Lee Sin, you start to really feel it. You know, as a fan of Rogue Warriors, you've got a bit more hope and faith in your team getting success, seeing him on his signature pick. And a while ago, Flawless was actually a one-trick. He could only play the single champion very well, and it was only in spring of this split where he started to branch out and find better champions to a greater degree of success. The Sejuani was the first of the lot.
It's a bloody good one-trick, though. And here comes that one-trick. Double buffs in tow. Nice Shadow Dash. Ooh, Flawless still holding on.
Yeah, he'd have to ward jump to cover distance and doesn't have the ward available, so he wasn't really able to make that work. But Tween Bee is down here at level 3. This is a 4-man dive.
Yes, it is, Rusty. Pushing in the wave, and Unifury know exactly what's happening. No one is responding to the play either. Talia's on opposite sides of the map, and
but they're zoned away. They don't have wards to place in that bush, and Rogue Warriors make it work. There's only 2 of them.
But no
the
vision.
rest of them have left. Flawless is currently covering to stop the opposing jungler from getting a gank off at all.
Yep.
Just making sure that he's there as the standing ward. But Hacker wants none of it. He knows what's happening. He's just going to say, well, top side of the jungle is mine.
Also, we had the bottom lane Reddit as well, just at the very end there. So it was nice for Rogue Warriors. Didn't turn into a kill, but it just turned into pressure and damage on tower.
Mouse should be super aware of this, but still has to use his flash.
Wow, yeah. He knew he was up against the wall and he was being corralled by a Hacker, so there was a good chance that he'd be knocked up and thrown back, or vice versa. So just decides to burn the flash instead.
Yeah, it's just upsetting for Mouse in the first place. If your jungle is bottom side, and he has been for the past minute, you know that something's going on the top side. That's where all the junglers go, and you never saw the Talia. You have to assume that she's top side, but he has to use the flash. And now that means the Hacker can come back up there very easily, even hard farm to 6, and come top lane after.
The other thing is, like, if Mouse hits level 6, then he's mostly safe, though. In the mid lane, Angel, here comes Flawless, level 3. Oh, he's connected the cube, but no Lee Syndrome today. Hacker's also over the wall, just in case. Oh, he's got a flash over anyway, misses the flick.
You calm down. That was a lot right there from Hacker. He's feeling himself, but he shouldn't have been. There was no mana from doing me, which is why the start of that fight was a bit slower than you would like from Rogue Warriors. Of course, the flash forward was from Flawless. Maybe just a miscommunication, honestly, from the Rogue Warriors duo there. End result, nothing happens, but someone is burnt.
Indeed. Whoop. All right, Kahlua. Trading up against Yoon. Yoon, we saw his runes earlier, has actually gone again for the Glacial Augment. Definitely like this build a lot. Give him a lick and just charge at the face.
It's good, but it's not that great into Shen. However, right now they've got the chance.
What were you just saying, Rusty? We'll have to flash away, though. Kahlua also ignites a flash after Fury! That will be the ignite coming through. SMLZ is going to chase them down, but he's another double tap. Oh, piercing light. All right, SMLZ.
He just plays them for the full there. SMLZ steps up massive and is able to find the trade. Also, as a giant wave crashes onto the turret. So whilst you saw the play, and it looked real nice from Suning Gaming, because it's not Suning Gaming that come out on top from that trade. And to elaborate, the reason that it's not good in the Shen is when he's got the W up. But it's like a 25-second cooldown, so it was super well navigated from Suning Gaming to trade twice in a short period of time. No taunt, no W, no chance to survive, and Kahlua doesn't flash away, so he just gets gobbled up. And that's what the Glacial Augment move speed bonus can do for you for certain. So they get this kill, but it's a flash forwards from Fury there, making sure the accused flashes, gets the auto. SMLZ feigns he's I'm done. I'm not done. Hey. It was all a ruse, waiting for that Q cooldown.
Okay, Mouse is super dead in the top lane. Don't know if he had level 6 or not. I think he did because he popped his ultimate beforehand.
He didn't have his flash regardless, and that's what happens when you use flash earlier in the game. They're able to come top lane and punish you for it. So it's still good from Suning Gaming, making appropriate trades across the map, counting on those timers and making them happen.
Nice stuff from both sides, honestly. Coming back into this bottom lane, that bottom tower is taking a lot of damage, so I wouldn't be surprised if Flawless is looking for, again, another repeat gank into the bottom lane to try and knock this one over. Though he is level 4, so he's got 2 levels to go for that level 6 when he's really going to turn online. And Hacker, he's been ganking, but he's also been farming. and he's now just hit level 6. So Flawless just dings, but it was almost a 2-level advantage for a second there. FLICKR is definitely out-tempoing Lee Sin.
Yeah, it's the scary thing about a Lee Sin, right? You wanted that level 2 gank. He wasted a lot of time just giving pressure towards the bottom lane. And that's noted through the experience difference of these junglers for certain. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens in the top lane first. The Mouse, I think, just gets put to sleep. And there's nothing he can do. The flick is very easily hit after that point, and don't have a flash, don't have a chance to survive, honestly, through all of that. But what we were talking about in the bottom lane, Pulse, is that realistically, SMLZ's advantage is forged in part by Flawless's time.
Yeah.
So whilst he's behind in experience himself, he has given that over to the Lucian, to SMLZ, and what better a person to give that to be honest with you?
I mean, already the composition is in place for him to be the guy, you know, person to look towards. So it makes sense. Also liked in that replay that, regardless of language, Mundo is always appropriately Mundo. Voice acting was great.
He still just says Mundo, which is great.
He does, but with an accent.
Blue buff finally for DoinB, something that he's been struggling with in this middle lane. Always out of mana. Every time you look mid at a Rogue Warrior's mid laner, he doesn't have a mana pool. It is gone. DoinB expends most of his resources to try and clear waves. He doesn't auto-attack and lose damage on turrets. It's a conscious decision from him, but it's something that has been ingrained into him since the day we first saw him,
of course,
play competitive League of Legends, when he was a Victor one-trick. Did you know that when DoinB qualified into the LPL, he played Maokai mid lane in that promo tournament?
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I assume he won.
I don't know if he won with the Maokai. I know that he played it. But he won because he qualified.
Oh, DoinB. You know, I like DoinB a lot because he never changes. He always sticks to his guns. He always finds like interesting innovations that he can bring to the mid lane, and more often than not, they work. Unlike mine.
Oh my lord.
Jesus.
Goodbye, DoinB. Get out of my lane, says Angel. No teleport from DoinB, so just a nice little trade there. That's what Zoe does. That's what Zoe will continue to do to you. It's those mid-game trades where Angel was positionally out of place and was making mistakes. As bottom lane, FLICKR
hacking his way into this bush.
I feel like Fury made that very obvious, though.
As, you know, standard positioning in lane.
He was hiding in a bush for about 10 seconds, threatening the ultimate. And if you're Rogue Warriors, even if FLICKR isn't there, you're like, well, they're trying to engage on us. I don't have flash.
Oh, there it is, the chain of corruption. Oh, Kalua's just gonna instantly die on the spot. SMLZ chills for a second. It's like, where's my ally? Where's my support?
He was locked down by the Varus ultimate. It actually changed to him, but he was at no risk of dying. Kalua was the target. That was surprising. If I was Kalua, I was waiting to protect SMLZ.
Yeah. Didn't realize he'd be the
one
target.
That dies is Flawless. I don't think he can get anything done here, but he has got DoinB nearby.
I mean, when you're protecting the president and they actually shoot for the bodyguard, no one expects that.
No. There's a Shen's back. Bodyguard's back.
4-man collapse into the bottom side. Good gobble up there from the Tam Kedge. Oh, Flawless. The 2-for-1 special on the ultimate.
Wow, just kicks in the Tam Kedge, who has a Varus inside the body, and Fury doesn't feel too good about that one. Yoon had the flash, but he was taunted, so that was very well done by Rogue Warriors. And that's the immediate counterplay. You're looking at it like Sunin Gaming, doing really good things, making great plays happen. And then no more than 5 seconds later is a Lee Sin coming in with a Shen on top of him that you've just killed to come and take your life in response. And they get so much more from it at Rogue Warriors. It's just stock standard them.
And frankly, you see plays like that happen from Lee Sin's and you're just like, oh, that was convenient. But you know it's Flawless's Lee Sin, so that was planned. He saw all of that happen, and in that moment he knew exactly what was going on. It's like, here it is. Here's the Dragon's Rage. And finds it, locks them both down. It's just fantastic stuff coming out from Rogue Warriors. And this is one of the comfort picks that I really always will give a pass to. You know, I said it in Champion Select, but like when we see like the SMLZ Caitlyn come out and it's like, okay. But you see like the Lee Sin come out regardless of meta, and you know you're going to see something special in the game.
It's like Uzi picking Vayne, you know?
Exactly.
Like no one else can pick Vayne, but when Uzi does, you're like, oh my god, it's Vayne.
Yeah.
And you get excited for it.
And then he goes top lane against Mundo.
I mean, it's still won.
Well, it's still great, yeah, he crushed the
right?
matchup, but I wanted to see it into Draven, man.
I just wanted to see Jackie Love against Uzi.
Everyone wants to see.
Would have been exciting. Nonetheless, I didn't want to watch Uzi lose the matchup. He chose to win the game instead, and I respect it. SMLZ has been the biggest winner whilst we speak about AD carry so far. 3-0.
Yeah, he's big. It's a big old Lucian. Also had the QSS on that one. Doinby blocked part of this, but sent to sleep. Yeah, he has to cleanse out of that one. A follow through on that with a second paddle star. Could have been lights out for Doinby, or at the very least a flash or an ultimate, so makes sense to burn the lesser of the three.
Control still belonging to Sinning Gaming through the top side river though, whilst they have a big Lucian Rogue Warriors. It's not big enough to control the map just yet. Need to translate something a little bit further. Maybe wait for some cooldown. Flawless has got his ult up.
Also just testing his power level.
I know you like top lane matchups, but this is not one that particularly excites me.
I mean, Mouse just knows that in a prolonged trade he's able to beat down the Cho'Gath because of the percent damage into the Cho'Gath right now, plus he's got a completed item in the form of Spirit Visit and the ultimate, so in a prolonged trade he will be able to chase him down the lane without the tower, but Xiao Ao respects that and has to back away.
I mean, most Cho'Gaths just are happy to trade with you in a wave, but this is not going to be ideal for him. Who is it?
We don't know yet.
Oh,
it's SMLs. Yeah, it's literally everybody. So Xiao Ao's on the run. He's probably just going to get as much farm as he can. This will be his last meal of a... Oh no, he doesn't even get them. That feels bad. Oh, he found two. That was a kind of crummy last meal. Feels bad.
Turret's still being traded on the opposite side though. Sinning Gaming know exactly what they should be doing in response to that. And Rogue Warriors, they don't have the outer turret to take. They're actually threatening the inner turret. So they've gone one step further. But when we mention one step further, I'm pretty sure that Sinning Gaming are still the winners here.
Feels like that is the case. Herald has been picked up and so to Hacker. But again, we've had so many back and forth trades in the early game where it's just like, it's been slight advantage to either side, but it has been either side. It's not just been like one team gradually getting ahead. Like both teams have been picking up advantages. Once one's in tower.
Oh,
Herald. That's why the QSS came in second there from SMLZ. But it's also that fact, the fact that you know, Cleanse has to be picked up by Doinby. QSS picked up by SMLZ as well, just because of Angel's picking the mid lane. It feels like just by proxy of his picks that he's had in this one,
he's been doing more for Sinning.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, when your mid laner can only play the Aurelia, you find yourself locked into certain compositions and certain styles. So absolutely, having Angel play, he's actually looked quite good at moments, and he's just looked young at moments.
Yep.
So those are things that can be fixed and can be trained, and he can be taught how to be better. That's a promising start here for Sinning Gaming. The concern is it's the world split, so they might have wanted him sooner. But they had to make do with what they have. The times that they've got no Knight available.
Yep.
Super tragic for them.
Diamond in the rough for certain. So yeah, of course you would like to train them over this spring split. But that being said, you look towards Fen, and while people don't realize that he's a one-trick, he's really, really good and will win games for you. Like, his mechanics are nothing to sniff at for certain.
He's nutty. So you give him that champion, he carries.
Yep. Definitely someone you want to have in your back pocket.
It's a Storm Razor rush from this Varus also, and we are seeing so much more Storm Razor being rushed. It's a strong item, don't get me wrong. It's got AD and attack speed in a single item, so the first item goes, it's very powerful. For a Varus to be rushing it over something like a Blade of the Ruined King or a Guinzu's Rage Blade is very peculiar, however. It means that he wants to crit that first person for a lot of damage. And most of the tanks on the side of Rogue Warriors aren't building armor just yet either, and most of them aren't tanks in the first place.
Can we talk about these bubbles for a second? Like, I don't think I've seen a single one miss in the last like 10 minutes. It's either been a summoner, someone having to go back away, pressure in the mid lane, opening it up for Herald. Like, Angel was just not missing a beat.
Absolutely. I mean, for what it's worth, Angel is a very strong mechanical player, is what we have noted from this series. And, you know, you'll see the bubbles connect, you'll see the Qs hit, you'll see the mastery of the champion there. What you're looking at with Angel is the mistakes in positioning, is in the timing, maybe in the communication with the rest of his team. And that's where things tend to go awry for them, is currently, and so far, so good. That's Mouse coming in though. That's, I'm gonna say it's a bit deep of a flank.
But is it gonna be a mouse trap? That is the question. Oh, probably not, as the bubble has just landed onto Flawless.
It's a big Krug. That's all they get for that teleport. Cho'Gath, meanwhile, has got teleport available and is on the top side of the map.
Love and life.
Yeah, so get another win for the side of Sinning Gaming, as Rogue Warriors are trying very hard to force things, but they don't have the knowledge.
Mouse is like, well, that tickled.
He's gonna walk it out.
Can you not? Just being a pest right there, Angel. Top side, Cho'Gath is pushing in. Kaloa steps into top lane, thinks about being a top lane for a second.
Flawless might actually even catch some of it. He's pretty behind in terms of XP is what it feels like anyway, so not having the best time on this Lee Sin. And of course, most Lee Sins have their early game strengths. They've got their mid-game drop-offs, and then they've got their late-game hero plays. That's just the Lee Sin way of life. As Mouse gets some redemption.
This is quite bad. Yeah, it has to teleport out of this one. I mean, it's not like Mundo has any hard CC, so I'll see you later, kid. But has to burn the teleport, otherwise he would have died. There were most people heading up to the top lane. Mundo even by himself would chase him down with cleavers. Because unfortunately, Cho'Gath's model was pretty damn big, so there's no way to get away from that one.
I mean, in terms of decision-making, once again, just a little bit lazy on the recall positioning, and suddenly there's a teleport matched, where Mouse was meant to be at a disadvantage, where SNG were meant to have an advantage for themselves. It's gone.
But this is an even game for the most part. I mean, top lane is now going to get collapsed upon by Rogue Warriors, so they'll even up the towers, but actually get ahead in terms of gold. Now, this is the first time in the series that someone hasn't just been like wildly ahead, and I'm talking about Suning for the most part, where they've had these early game leads. You can see they've been Rogue Warriors coming back, or Suning actually closing it out, think of game 2. So there's actually going to be a different style and a different flavor to this game as we approach those fights.
And what has been promising so far from Suning Gaming in that early game, now we find ourselves at that crossroads of, can they keep up with the Rogue Warriors that they're letting get to the item spike? They're letting get to the mid and later stages of this game. They've got the Varus to match the Lucian, so they do have the AD carries there. They're not going to be, you know, mage against AD carry late games. It's going to be a pretty interesting time to explore how they go.
I mean, the concern really is just SMLZ at the end of the day, right? And he's actually going towards a Black Cleaver second as well, so he's specifically looking towards damage right now on the 2-item power spike versus, you know, going for an early Essence Reaver, which is interesting in itself. Or setting the trap though, Kahlua again under attack, and it's again the bodyguard to go down. Good safeguard there from Flawless, it's damage control, but Suning with a real nice pick.
And they've shown just how easy it is to kill a support Shen time and again. They catch them out through vision control, and Suning Gaming continue to step forward. Now they don't have the Varus ultimate, so their engage is lacking. But if you hit the bubble, if you hit a Cho'Gath knock up, everything else can follow very easily with the damage that they've got. So that's what you're looking at. Start with the vision, make the picks. If there was an objective, I'm sure they would be sprinting towards it, but not just yet.
No, wishing it was maybe a minute or two in the future where Baron will be a possibility, but not to be the case. That is, however, a warning shot to be fired the way of Rogue Warriors. They need to be very careful that if that happens again, then maybe it is something like, yeah, that's real unfortunate. But maybe that does happen, you know, maybe it is a pick into a Baron, a pick into a Dragon. Next one's going to be Cloud, but you know, later on into the game, something like the Elder is going to be on the menu. And Angel is just constantly just hitting these bubbles, and that's turning into picks.
Yeah, it definitely is. If the bubble hits, if the flick hits, the Cho'Gath Q hits, Varus ultimate even follows up. Even a Tahm Kench Tongue, honestly. A slow is all it can take for Suning Gaming to find entryway into a kill. That's the scariest thing for a Lucian. Has got the QSS, but at the end of the day, he's got to be dealing damage, and the QSS just to survive is not going to be enough. Look at the build from Kahlua as well. Kindle Gem after Boots of Lucidity. Just wants that ultimate more often, the taunts more often. Just try and be someone in the front line to protect SMLZ, because they've got a front line together. That team composition, the only one in the back line is Doinby.
Yep. That's fair. What's your take on SMLZ's build going towards the Black Cleaver here second instead of going towards like the Essence Reaver build earlier and looking towards the crit and scaling up that way? Do you think it's a build out of necessity because otherwise Suning would be like, all right, great, and then we'll just rush objectives?
I mean, right now the biggest utility you get from an Essence Reaver rush is the dashing constantly.
Correct.
The Essence Flare now providing you that cooldown reduction is good for him, but not every Lucian does it. In fact, the standard build for the most part is Black Cleaver into Essence Reaver third. So I think he's gone the standard route, but in terms of why would I go one over the other, I think the Black Cleaver just provides more immediate strength and more noticeable strength without the resets.
Yeah. And I feel like it's very much necessary because without that, you're relying on Lulu damage and the stuff coming in from the tanks, which is still sizable at this point in the game. Flawless's Warrior Enchant will still do a lot of damage with the ultimate. Same thing from Mundo over time in a team fight, but just feel like they actually need a bit of a kick coming in from the AD carry.
Because you don't get the crit from Essence Reaver anymore. That's one thing that needs to be noted. And usually, you know, if you go Essence Reaver, you wouldn't be building it with a Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah.
Instead now, of course, you can go towards that. What you'll be missing here for SMLZ is a little bit of extra mana, in particular, your ability to spell sling and hold lanes through the mana return of the auto attacks. And instead of having that, he's going to have the same amount of cooldown reduction, but he's going to be tankier.
Yeah.
And that's what you would take the trade-off to realistically be.
Is that, and also, like, are you looking to spike on two items, 3 or 4, right? And each build has a slightly small difference to it. Suning Gaming, though, was feeling pretty strong right now as a 5-man stack. And take out the crab, going to take up the dragon. I mean, it's a cloud dragon, so Rogue are going to be like, okay, well, we'll trade this probably for control over the Baron area.
Yeah.
We'll send Doinby up there, place down a couple of wards. But there's actually not a whole lot of control wards in the inventory. They're just going to be able to clear out some.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rogue Warriors don't have absolute control. That's a nice deep ward, however, from Flawless to maybe find a teleport flank available. I wouldn't say that they have a want to teleport flank by any means. There's no propensity to do that with the composition they've got for themselves. What they have got right now, however, Rogue Warriors, is a strong item spiking position.
That chain of corruption right down onto Flawless. He goes into the perfect time. He jumps over the wall, but he's put to sleep. Here comes SMLZ by himself with Kahlua on top of him. The deep teleport. There it is. Out from Flawless and into Mouse. He'll follow through. The team fight is split out. And Yoon! Phil flashes into that wall. Hacker goes down. It will be a second onto Fury. Big play from Rogue Warriors.
And one ward is all it takes for Rogue Warriors, and it starts with Flawless being caught. We mentioned the item spikes they've got. Well, they also had 3 stopwatches. Flawless was one of those members, and whilst they thought they had him caught out of position, they didn't find the fight thereafter. Xiaoao can't teleport in, cancels it. Baron secured, team fight 1. Rogue Warriors from an even game start that snowball.
Good stuff coming in from Rogue Warriors, and part of it was based on that Flawless ward coming in the backside, allowing Mouse to teleport into that one, closing around and creating a real mouse trap.
Even rushing Gaming. Guardian Angel now is Flawless after that team fight victory, so knows what the state of the game is and what he needs to do. Perfect timing on the perfect timing. SMLZ, of course, has a Shen on him, so they're able to threaten here. And with Doinby next to SMLZ, never at risk of dying. Notice that he dashes forwards. He doesn't really care for any of the pebbles on the ground. And Yoon, the flash, whilst it failed, was in an attempt to save the Talia if possible. So, not going to get him. They're going to get the fight. Rogue Warriors now with the potential to snowball this game out.
And that's what you want to see. I mean, it's the classic Rogue Warriors mid-game team fight that they just win and then they run away with the game. You see it a million times over. Internationally, domestically, it's whatever. It's the Rogue Warriors special. It's something that you have to think towards. SMLZ just dodging away from that rupture. And Sunny Gaming, I mean, what's been their typical strength is how hard they hit in the early game. That sucker punch. And it's just like, actually, can they find the takedown in the end? Often no. Second game, yes. And it was a fantastic improvement from that first game. But right here, right now, this is where Rogue Warriors shine.
The second game was a resounding yes at that as well, but in this one it's a Tahm Kench, it's not an engaging support, and I think that was the biggest difference that's now noticeable throughout this one. When you're looking at the team compositions, it is important to point out that Fury will be a lot of the physical damage. If you're looking at that composition and saying, well, Mundo's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's got a Spirit Visage, he's got a Warmogs, he's got another Spectre's Cowl, and even the stopwatch, but if Fury can be putting down damage successfully, then they can actually win those late game team fights, and this is a very different flavor hit from the side of Sin and Gaming, but I think it can be successful. They just botched a little bit there in the red side jungle, and they gave too much to Rogue Warriors.
And that's it, ultimately, from what we've seen from Sunny Gaming, is that it's just botching execution versus anything else. I mean, often the idea is good, the draft is good, but actually following up in game, in the moment, seems to be some of the problem for them. We saw that out from the Kennen game from Xiaoao, how the team interacted with it. Just earlier before then as well, approaching the Baron just slightly the wrong way, and you know, a team like Rogue Warriors will punish like that. You know, it's, you said in game 2 you can't get, or game 1 rather, it's not something that you can't give Rogue Warriors advantages like that or opportunities to come back into the game, because they will grasp it with both hands and run away with it.
You know, the best thing about the LPL is that we have stylistic teams. You know, a lot of the regions in the world will have their meta that they forge for themselves. Some teams will have pocket picks, but we have team styles. You know, it's not just a champion of choice. Flawless has the least in this game, but that's one champion. The style stays the same. And Sin and Gaming, their style is early and mid. They haven't got late game going for themselves yet. For Rogue Warriors, it's finding a mid-game team fight, just hard snowballing from that 5-man play. And you're seeing these styles collide. You're seeing Sin and Gaming miss the execution, and suddenly the style of Rogue Warriors takes over.
Punch, counter punch. And yeah, Sin and Gaming missing the first one, of course, results in this one. There comes the wall. Coming across Rogue Warriors, zoning away with the culling. Chain of Corruption comes in early onto Mouse, spreads to the rest of the team. Yeah, it's a lot of resources. Flawless aggresses forwards. No longer has any wards, only has a control ward left for a final jump. But the tower's dead, the objective is done.
Yeah, absolutely, Rogue Warriors just get what they're after. That was a lot of stuff used to try and get them away from the turret.
Yeah.
But the Talia wall wasn't timed well enough to actually deter them. In fact, it looked like they wanted to maybe separate the herd, find an opportunity. And without that being available for themselves, they just used everything and had to disengage because it wasn't successful by any means. Rogue Warriors, they saw it used, Flawless with that ward hop, whilst it was super aggressive and didn't find anything, threatened so much of the map. They just had to back away in respect.
He did indeed. And Rogue Warriors, it's still an advantage over to them. Maybe they would have wanted more with the Baron buff, but it's still good. 5 towers to 3, leading in terms of gold, towers, objectives. Apart from maybe Dragon. There is, of course, an extra cloud over to Sunny. We can take a look at the gold real quick as well. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers over 10k. If you're looking at Rogue Warriors, top lane, mid lane, and AD carry, 12,000 over to SMLZ, a 3,000 gold advantage over to him compared to Fury. Big deal, 4 kills and an extra 50 farm will do that.
The only person that is behind on the side of Rogue Warriors is Flawless, but because he has that Guardian Angel available, he's still going to play the same style that he would otherwise be playing because he's on that Lee Sin. So they are set up very nicely here to try and finish this game out if possible is the Rogue Warriors roster. And with their 3-item spikes starting to come across, with the Lulu and Illusion starting to really turn online. It's get super dire for Suning Gaming, but it's always possible. I can't discount their compositions against one another.
Yeah.
I just have this feeling that, you know, Rogue Warriors could lose that next fight very easily if they make a single team fight error.
Bubble in the right place, Fury with the ult in the right place, Fury in the right place. Yeah, like there's a lot of things that can go well for Suning Gaming. Like that pick potential is always something to keep at the back of your mind. The potential for Yoon to find that clutch save onto a target being focused out. Like there's still potential, you know, even with the 6,000 gold advantage, Rogue Warriors need to be clean in their execution because ultimately they're a single target, single damage composition. I mean, yes, you have damage coming in from Domi in terms of the burst, but it's SMLZ, you know. If SMLZ goes down, and while he has a great positioning, if he does die, then Rogue Warriors are in struggle street.
Yeah, we've still got some big tanks in the front line as well, some fridges running around, so there's also the possibility of a straight up front to back victorious team fight for certain here for Suning Game.
So you can't call them all fridges.
They are all fridges.
No, they're absolutely not. The furthest I'll go is Tam Kench calling him a fridge, because sometimes inside the fridge is a good midnight snack.
You're thinking of it literally though.
I am, yes.
Have you ever moved house?
Yeah, 10 times.
What is the heaviest thing to move in that house?
My piano.
Okay, you have a piano. It's usually the fridge. So you can call them pianos if you'd like. I'm committing to fridges. I lived on the 2nd story and had to move a fridge. And let me tell you, it was me and my brother, and he just stopped carrying it halfway down the stairs, and I almost died. Fridges are not to be messed around with, people.
Who does that? Who's like carrying something with someone who's like, all right, give up?
Well, okay, so when you, like, now I have to justify it for him. Fridges have water stored in them.
Yes.
And if you're carrying the bottom of the fridge and you tip it to carry it, the water leaks out and you actually like have wet hands.
Yeah.
So it's hard to carry.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what got him. He freaked out. He's like, I got wet hands. Thought there was something on his hands.
Never get wet hands, folks. That's when it all goes wrong. Life advice from Paulson Rusty on the LPL. What's Flawless looking for right now? He's hunting.
You want other life advice? Do not put pineapple on pizza. That's a big one. Fold, don't scrunch.
That's true. I'm fully aligned with you on that one. Only animals scrunch. I don't even know why that's a thing, to be honest. There's no way it's more efficient.
I can't think into the minds of those people, Pulse. I'm unsure. And always make your bed in the morning. That's an important one. And the reason it's important is because you start your day with a victory. Starting your day with a victory is the best way to succeed in life. You've heard that here first. I got really sentimental on you all, but
I'm learning a lot today. Not only about Rusty, but things to just do in life that just make it better.
I didn't intend to get that deep.
Maybe that's what Sunny Gaming did this morning. They all made their beds. They started with a win, and they were like, you know what? Feeling good. Coming with that game 2, smash Rogue Warriors. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All could have been because of that.
They should be feeling great after that game 2 victory. And
they are not scrunches. They are not pineapple eaters.
They're not. This game is also stagnated from that Baron being taken.
It absolutely has. Baron's back up though, Rusty.
It is, and that's the opportunity. That is the window where Suning Gaming can try and make that play happen. I feel like if they lose this next Baron, it will be the lights out moment. The gold lead will just grow too large, up to 6,000 from what was an even game, and expect to see that again. Now, this has been done with vision. They still haven't cleared that ward until now. And maybe a bait, they might want to turn and fight quickly, and of course doing it on vision usually indicates that, so you can see the apprehension from Suning.
For sure, Angel seeing if he can just connect a little bubble there, but not going to happen. It's down to around half this Baron, but Flawless over the wall, looks for the follow-up and kicks the Cho'Gath into the team. Can we kill him fast enough though? That's the question, because Yoon's found the save right there. Angel over the wall looking for the assassinate, but he stalls the backline. Mouse, he's like, where's my team? Jumps in by himself, double knockup lands, but the rest of Suning does not want in on this train. No back away.
There's a lot of damage still coming out of that Varus, but they go back to the Baron. They actually gain a lot of health from hitting this No Mundo ult though. This is risky business from Rogue Warriors. They're playing a delicate game.
It is indeed, and Mouse was looking for a business call right there, chucking these briefcases towards Suning Gaming. Pushing up.
They got top lane, there you go. So they're changing the plan up here. They've shifted the game on its head, and Rogue Warriors are going for the turrets. Baron not to be seen just yet, but it was a nice little idea and a nice bait. With no ultimates, however, Rogue Warriors change objectives.
Nice rotation into the top side of the map. That will be the tower takedown. Ooh, steady hacker. Do not want to be caught out. There is a mid lane push, however, coming in from Suning Gaming from those minions alone. Something that Rogue Warriors will have to deal with if they want to set up once again for this Baron. And we do have a recall coming in from Mundo, though. He stops it, just in case someone decides to step up here from Suning Gaming, which was definitely a possibility.
And usually mid-priority is the biggest entryway into the game. If you have mid-priority and the fights are around Baron, then you usually have free access to the Baron. You can just get to the river for free, get up there and contest. You only need one ward to get super close to the objective. In this case, Suning Gaming, they have that control, they have that capabilities. And for Rogue Warriors, they just wanted to fight. They found an opportunity, but realistically, the flash kick from Flawless just moved to Cho'Gath to press his Gargoyle Stone Plate, and then was gobbled up by Yoon. Suning Gaming.
Okay.
They're on.
All right. Starting off the Baron, that will force the teleport. Oh, he has finished it. Immediately popping the ultimate. He does have the perfect timing, though, but where's the team? Instant flash away. Great dodge from the Rupture. Now following through, Kalo on the backside. The rest of Rogue Warriors a long distance away, though. Oh, Angel.
No.
The worst type of timing. Maybe it works out. SMLG jumps over the wall, has the shield on top of him, follows it with the culling. He was shooting backwards right there. That's not how guns work.
And it was a Spell Thief W, so no one freak out. He didn't use his stopwatch inappropriately, but he definitely inappropriately used the Spell Thief W. So Rogue Warriors, they push him off. Mouse just plays very well, honestly. Maybe shouldn't have finished the teleport, but doesn't matter. They still want to turn. They still want to fight.
Remember, they shred this Baron very quickly. Rogue Warriors now with SMLZ on his third item. Xiao Ao once again locking down the Cho'Gath, but plenty of time. Oh no! Flawless dropped down from the skies. He's about to be the sacrifice, and the instant call was made by Rogue Warriors. Burned down the Baron. Can we get it? Yes, we can! Oh, we'll go over to SMLZ. Now we're looking for the turn. Xiao Ao is low. He's taunted up. Yoon backing away, but Mouse is back for more. Following down onto the Tam Catcher and SMLZ. Look at the carry. He's found two. He's chasing after, and here comes Glua once again. Finds the lockdown. Triple for SMLZ. Quadra, in fact. And there's only one member left. It is Angel.
And only Angel left alive. Rogue Warriors effectively 4v5. They want that penta. Look at SMLZ.
He's chasing, he's hunting. Angel, it's down to him. Can he find the bubble?
Oh my God.
That's so much damage. Oh, he just chasing him down. SMLZ, last auto. Perfect timing. Are you going to tease us like that, man? That's going to be the penta coming in for SMLZ.
They give him the 5 kills. Penta kill for SMLZ. The game goes with it. And Rogue Warriors, they get the 2-1.
Rogue Warriors coming out here, 35 minutes. A bit of a struggle around the mid-game, but Rogue Warriors, super carry join B or just straight super team? You tell me. That's the win on the day coming in for Rogue Warriors.
And SMLZ, when he gets Lucian, is a force to be reckoned with. You can see how excited he is after getting a pentakill right now. Absolutely elated. 5 kills for him. It's actually 9 in the end. 9-0 was the end score of the Lucian. Doesn't even die. Rogue Warriors, you saw him at Rift Rivals, you saw the bruises being played by DoomB. Well, he can also play the Lulu. He can also support what is super carry SMLZ.
Feels good, man. 2-1 coming in here from Rogue Warriors. Tried something funky in the second game, and then in the third game, Flawless just played his ultimate card. Just places down the Lee Sin and is like, all right, this one's mine. I'm going to carry through this game, boys. And then SMLZ will be there on the backside to finish it off. Well played to Rogue Warriors. Well-deserved bout coming in here as well to Shanghai. Again, still a packed crowd following in from that Invictus Gaming series earlier. No, it is SLMZ, isn't it?
Yeah.
Damn. Unlucky. Well, we can't all be winners, but on the opposite side, we look at Angel, and great performance from him. You saw him, it was, bit of sadness, first loss first series, first loss coming in for him, but he had some great performances by himself on an individual level, so he can definitely go backstage head held high because, I mean, hey, you got a solo kill against Super Carry Doinby in your very first game.
In your first game, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to say that Rogue Warriors were playing at 100% here, but I really do feel like the difference between Suning Gaming and Rogue Warriors wasn't all that much. I really did feel like from this set that Suning Gaming have what it takes just from that sample size, that it might have only been the 1%ers that were actually the difference here. The smaller details, could be communication, could be the shot calling, whatever it is, it was a small amount, and that small amount was the only entryway that Rogue Warriors needed to win. That was, they took it, they ran with it, SMLZ gets a pentakill, the game is over. But for a lot of this game, could have been close. Game 2, you saw exactly what Suning Gaming can do.
I want to talk about Suning Gaming just for a little bit longer because honestly, they're stylistically, because we're talking about team styles, I think that their style specifically hitting hard in the early game, and if they play like game 2 and they actually have a step 2, which is close, they can destroy most of the league, honestly. If you look at people who stumble in the early game, teams who stumble around the mid game, and if Suning Gaming just come in hard every single time, and we know they do, but also able to close, they will firmly secure themselves to be top 3, top 4, whatever within their conference. You know, that is their way in. So they just need to replicate their success and how they played out game 2. That is how Suning Gaming get better and stay better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Suning Gaming currently a middle of the pack team with a lot of potential to reach above and beyond where they currently are. That's the thing you have to look at with Suning Gaming and JD Gaming, the two teams that are the upstarts that are really rising amongst the ranks and trying to compete with the likes of Rogue Warriors, IAG, EDG, and RNG that are currently holding the top spot.
For sure. I mean, you look towards Suning Gaming as well, and a team who, I mean, are able to punch above their weight, but they do it more consistently. They become very much like a gatekeeper benchmark team versus someone who is like a JD, who would just randomly beat RNG for some reason and randomly beat a top team, whereas in the bottom side of the map, then of the table rather, than maybe they aren't able to win.
I mean, it's consistently good in the early game from Suning Gaming. I'm looking at Angel and I'm hoping that he finds himself some extra consistency and communication with the team, because I really, from one set, I feel like he has what it takes.
For sure, he definitely looks like a diamond in the rough. For now though, that's going to do it for us. We are going to send it back to the analyst desk, take a look at the series and close out the day.
Thank you guys, and a good cast on the day, and Mr. Destructoid coming out from Rogue Warriors, Raz, with the second pentakill of this split of the LPL.
Fantastic to see him. Gets the Lululution, and he runs rampant. That's just ridiculous to see. Second, you already mentioned, so good job from SMLZ.
And it's not gifted pentakill, the one that for its
Oh, he tried hard, dude.
We're gonna no. There's a tie one that was a gifted kill from the fountain. So technically,
wow.
the first real pentakill here in this split of the LPL picked up by SMLZ. Rogue Warriors able to take game 3, but all 3 matches, no matter who won, had a very similar story, which was Suning were able to control, if not hold on to most of the early game and fight back against Rogue Warriors, which we kind of expected with Suning being an early game style team.
Yes.
Late game Rogue Warriors, that's where they shined in 1 and 3. Only game 2 was where Suning were able to completely dominate.
The experience, I would say, mental fortitude of Mouse in particular is something that really catches me, because Mouse this series got targeted out in the top side of the map. It happened. If there was a trade happening for the team, it was Rogue Warriors getting a positive in the bot side of the map, but then he died top side. But you mentioned the team fights, and he was pivotal for it. He was so crucial on the flanks in particular. I felt like there was a crucial team fight that ended up happening mid-game when Suning Gaming were really far ahead. And it was looking poor for Flawless, who got caught out. But at the end of the day, Rogue Warriors were there for him. And then the flank coming through, apparently Suning Gaming going to the back, having to check wards and saying, well, now we just have to keep extra focus on vision control because they got hurt.
Let's settle in on Mouse, because he played Dr. Mundo in the top lane, a champion who can be dove quite heavily, especially before level 6. Cho'Gath played into it, so Cho'Gath's going to have the pushing power and has an execute on his ultimate, does true damage. On top of that, they made reoccurring trips to the top lane to lock down Mouse. And you said that he's a resilient player. It showed. I mean, Flawless got caught out at Baron. Mouse was able to find a good flanking teleport after Flawless used stopwatch, and it led to Rogue Warriors picking up a team fight at that Baron pit, which eventually swung the game in their favor.
That was the crucial victory, because remember what the composition of what Rogue Warriors is supposed to do is play around Lucian. So I already talked about how the fight ended up happening. You can see it for yourselves. The TP coming in from Mouse right behind them catches the carries perfectly. Complete disarray from Suning from that alone, and the result is not just the flash from Tom Kench, but the Baron to follow up. The mid lane towers are going down. From that point forward, Suning have no more advantages. And they can't team fight no longer because they don't have the consistent damage. Sure, maybe if the Infinity Edge is finally completed by the crit
maybe.
Varus, perhaps. But that's way too far down the line, and Zoe's not going to be able to help you in the middle portion of the game.
And they punished them there and there. Rogue Warriors picked off the Baron. I mean, Suning had a slight chance to go for a steal. I know that Xiao went for a flash and almost stole it with Cho'Gath's ultimate. It was actually SMLZ that secured it. And not only did he secure Baron for the team, but he followed it up with a flashy pentakill himself, picking up the second one that we've seen in the summer split of the LPL.
And he did it with style. You talk about him having to work for it. He did. Front to back, chasing him down. It was fun to see that it all started with the kick as well. That it was SMLZ hammering them down. So this was really, really early on while he was protecting the Baron from happening. And so great stuff coming in from SMLZ from start to finish.
He just casually dashes over all the rocks. Doesn't matter. It's not like you get dealt extra damage when that happens. Followed up with Kalua as well, locking down the 4th target. They just hunt down the last member.
And these are long death timers, 30 seconds to boot. So you can just chase him down, zoom it over, because guess what? Lucian is a pretty fast man, and you ain't running from him. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Give it to him. Yes! No. That's what I'm talking about.
He picks up the MVP as well for that match itself. Rightfully so. That's 2 games now where SMLZ has been able to showcase his mechanical ability on 80 carries.
100% kill participation from an 80 carry, no less. From a Lucian that's supposed to be on side lane. That really hammers it home that this team focuses on how SMLZ plays.
Absolute machine. A robot as well, Raz. This man, look at him! That doesn't look like a man that just picked up a pentakill and then won the match for his team.
He's forgotten about it. That's just how life is. You would call him a robot. Rusty would call him a fridge. He was definitely having a really damn good day. Having a great week if you're counting in Rift rivals as well. So far, SMLZ has been performing on par with the best of them. I know we say top 2, top 3 putting in iBoy and Uzi of 80 carries in the LPL, and he just keeps on rising. So I know Uzi ain't playing for a little bit, and it seems like there's going to be somebody taking over that vacant throne for a little bit in the 80 carry position.
Yeah, he can be the top dog for now. We'll just give it to SMLZ, best 80 carry in the league at the moment. Only has to fight against iBoy. They might even get their match, you know, eventually. That rematch when they go back into intra-conference. BDG able to pick up that victory. But with Rogue Warriors picking up the 2-1 here over Suning, we can take a look at how the LPL currently stands. We're only 2 days into cross-conference, so not too much has changed.
And the most important thing is, remember, cross-conference means a lot. BLG picked up a win yesterday. Suning Gaming lost today. That means the 4th place spot that we were basically handing to Suning Gaming is under attack. BLG is coming.
And it's also important for those top teams. Like Rogue Warriors, they can't drop games to Suning. It's important for Suning to try and pick up the points so they can get further and further away from BLG, like you mentioned. But Rogue Warriors, RNG, IG, EDG, even Jingdong, they can't drop points at the moment because during cross-conference where they need to solidify themselves in the rankings and pick up a top finish to try and get those buys, especially for these 4 on your team, the Rift Rivals representatives, one should be the matches of the week that we'll have during cross-conference, starting with tomorrow's game. That'll be EDG taking on RNG.
Yeah, these marquee matchups are where you would expect real differences to be made in the top seeds for their conferences. So when you go back into their inter-conference play, you would start to understand or believe that, oh, you know what, RNG is expected to take first in their specific region in the Eastern Conference. But you find that out, that really gets revealed from watching these marquee matchups. So once they come by, the most important one coming up ahead, RNG versus EDG, that's going to be sick.
That's going to be tomorrow.
Soon. Boom.
And we can take a look at tomorrow's match as well, because not only is there the match of the week, which is RNG taking on EDG, we also have some other titles being contended for, which is Jindon taking on WE, as well as Vici against OMG.
It just hurts my soul to see JDG versus WE. JDG basically took WE's spot, being that best really early on. Now, of course, Eastern Conference versus Western Conference, but WE's not having a good time trying to find themselves as a team-fighting team, while JDG have found that exact identity.
But it leads up to our match of the week, Rez. The one that we cannot stop talking about, because it's the rematch of the spring finals between RNG as well as EDG.
Yeah, and with a twist, remember, Uzi ain't playing, so we're going to be seeing Zatai and Let Me. We're expecting that. Depends if they bring an Able to the field. So there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the roster of RNG. But one thing is for certain, blood's going to be spilled. It's going to happen. I ain't saying who,
Well, I already asked you earlier, Raz, do you think it's going to be Haro or Clearlove playing in the jungle for EDG? So I have a question that Rusty was talking about on the desk yesterday, because currently going into international events, you can only bring one substitute with you.
Yep.
Rusty and I both are of the opinion that hopefully it could be 7 in the future, because there are teams like RNG that make a case for it. They've
Yep.
been subbing out their top laners between Tatai as well as Let Me, and their junglers between Caster as well as MLXG. Has that top lane spot become more important now? Because now we see teams like Fnatic and even RNG rotating top laners into different positions.
It just depends on the style. Currently, I think Let Me is too similar to Zatai. I think Zatai has been someone who's came into the team being able to play carries as well as tanks. Let Me, he's fine on carries as well. I think he's actually a fairly strong carry player. So Let Me's just grown into being such a strong top laner for the league. So I'd much rather swap in MLXG and Karsa if it's just 6. But yeah, I agree with you. We should have 7 players internationally. But that's just how life rolls.
Well, we probably won't see Uzi play tomorrow, for he is currently nursing a reoccurring shoulder injury. We hope that he can recover as soon as possible, but it's still going to be a big match that starts at 7 o'clock Beijing time. Our first game, however, will start at 2 o'clock Beijing time, so be sure to tune in for that. With that, however, that's the end of our broadcast tonight. All we have left to do is thank our entire production team, our shoutcasters on the day, as well as our resident analyst, Brento Raz Mohammed. We want to wish all of you in